our Bhagavad-gita chapter 8, going deep dive into the verses, and but we will do the prayers to the spiritual master before that. And Hare Krishna, Mother Sangini Mataji, thank you for joining the call here.
Hare Krishna.
Jnanatimirandhasya jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gaur Premanande
Hare
Hare
Bo.
Okay, so let us get started here. What verse are we going to read today?
8.15.
8.15.
Yeah.
What do you see? Okay, so I am going to tell me what you see on your screen.
Attaining the Supreme.
Yeah.
Okay, and do you see the reading order also?
Yes, Mataji.
All right.
Oh, do we have? You put me, Sutapa? Mataji, you are before me. Shukumal Radhe, Mataji, Bindavali Mataji, and then me.
Oh.
After Sukumala Mataji, man.
You have to read from your screen, Mataji. You don't have to.
Where is my screen? Don't have the screen.
The screen is there, Mataji.
Okay, it doesn't matter if you don't have it. You just remember that you have to read after Sukumal Radhe reads. That's it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, done.
So let's get going. Getting started with
here it is. I can see now.
Okay, now let's no more interruption in the class.
I'm an old lady, but small letters. That's why I couldn't see.
Okay, no problems. Yeah, let's get started and no more disturbance in the class as we are reading through these sacred texts, starting with Sukumal Radhe Mataji, doing text number 1 from Bhagavad-gita, chapter 8.
Attaining the Supreme, Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman, what is the Self, what are fruitive activities, what is this material manifestation, and what are the demigods? Please explain this to me.
Who is the Lord of sacrifice, and how does he live in the body? O Madhusudana, and how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Hare Krishna.
Text 3. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the Self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma or fruitive activities.
O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature, which is... Mataji, can you scroll up, please?
Yeah, I'm just scrolling it up. Sorry.
O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called Adhibhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and moon, is called Adhideva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the super soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adhiyagya, the Lord of sacrifice.
Hare Krishna Ji. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Hare Krishna Ji.
Jyoti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Which one is
On the
whenever they
Six.
which whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, the state he will attain without fail. Hare Krishna Ji.
Anybody didn't get a chance to read? Okay, let's continue.
Mataji, can I read? Hare Krishna.
Oh, Kiran Goyal Mataji, of course.
Yes, done
Okay.
with pranams. Text 7. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Hare Krishna.
He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Parth, is sure to reach me.
One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and he is transcendental beyond beyond his material nature. Hare Krishna. Papa.
Yes, Mataji. One who at the time of death fixes his life here between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga with an undivided mind engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. Hare Krishna. Kiran Khoshla.
Sorry. The yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. Hare Krishna Ji.
After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. Hare Krishna Ji. Kiran Govind Mataji.
For one who always remembers me without deviation, I'm easy to obtain, O son of Partha, because of his constant engagement in the devotional service. Hare Krishna.
O son of Pritha. O son of Pritha.
Prita.
Yeah, not Partha.
After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection.
From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains it to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Hare Krishna. That was good.
Text 17. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together from the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night.
At the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state, and thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again.
Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. Hare Krishna Ji.
Hare Krishna ji, yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is the supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Hare Krishna ji. Kiran Goyal Mehta ji.
Text 21. That which the Vedantis describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns, that's my supreme abode. Hare Krishna.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all-pervading and everything is situated within him.
O best of the Bhartas, I shall now explain to you the different times to which, passing away from this world, the yogi does or does not come back. Hare Krishna. Satpade.
Yes, Mataji. Sorry. Text 24. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery god in the light at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6th month when the sun travels in the north.
The mystic who passes away from the world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but again comes back.
According to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back, but when one passes in darkness, he returns. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna ji. Although the devotees knows these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion.
28. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. Hare Krishna.
Hari Om, that's it. Okay, so let's go into the verse for today, and it is verse number 15. Who read verse number 15 today? When you all were reading, do you remember?
Yeah, I did.
You did that. All right, good. upetya punar janma duḥkha-ālayam aśāśvatam nāpnuvanti mahā-ātmānaḥ saṁsiddhiṁ paramāṁ gatāḥ. upetya punar janma duḥkha-ālayam aśāśvatam nāpnuvanti mahā-ātmānaḥ saṁsiddhiṁ paramāṁ gatāḥ. Māṁ upetya punar janma duḥkha-ālayam aśāśvatam nāpnuvanti mahā-ātmānaḥ saṁsiddhiṁ paramāṁ gatāḥ. Synonyms. Mam, me, upetya, achieving, punaḥ, again, janma, birth, duḥkha-ālayam, a place of miseries, aśāśvatam, temporary, na, never, āpnuvanti, attain, mahātmānaḥ, the great souls, saṁsiddhim, perfection, paramām, ultimate, gatāḥ, having achieved. So what's the Sanskrit for place of miseries?
duḥkha-ālayam.
duḥkha-ālayam. What is the Sanskrit for great souls?
mahā-ātmānaḥ.
mahātmānaḥ.
mahātmānaḥ.
What is the Sanskrit for achieving?
Upetya.
gatāḥ.
gatāḥ.
Upetya.
Upetya.
upetya. Upetya is achieving, gata is achieved.
Having achieved. Yeah.
Having.
The tense is there. Okay. And then what is something which is temporary?
aśāśvatam.
What
Aśāśvatam.
is perfection?
Saṁsiddhiṁ.
Saṁsiddhim.
And
Saṁsiddhim.
what is correct? And what is the Sanskrit for attain?
āpnuvanti.
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 Right.
Āpnuvanti.
And what's the Sanskrit for never?
No,
Na.
na,
And what is the Sanskrit for birth?
Janma.
Janma.
And what is the Sanskrit for attain?
āpnuvanti.
And what's the Sanskrit for again?
Punaḥ.
punaḥ.
Okay.
Punaḥ.
Punah.
So
Punaḥ.
punaḥ.
Pun-
After punaḥ. After attaining me, translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which was full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Purport. Since this temporary material world is full of miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, naturally he who achieves the highest perfection and attains the supreme planet Kṛṣṇaloka, Goloka Vṛndāvana, does not wish to return. The supreme planet is described in Vedic literatures as avyakta and akshara and paramāgati. In other words, that planet is beyond the material vision, avyakta, and it is inexplicable, but it is the highest goal, the destination for the Mahatmas or great souls. The highest goal is paramāgati, and akshara is that which does not perish. The Mahatmanas receive transcendental messages from the realized devotees. From where do they receive the transcendental messages?
From realized devotees.
From realized devotees.
Yeah.
And thus gradually develops devotional service in Krishna consciousness and becomes so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets, nor do they ever want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. They only want Krishna and Krishna's association and nothing else. That is the highest perfection of life. This verse specifically mentions the personalist devotees of the Supreme Lord Krishna. These devotees in Krishna consciousness achieve the highest perfection of life. In other words, they are the supreme souls or the mahā-ātmās. Okay. We have come to the end of the purport, so it's time for us to ask questions, reflections, etc.
Mataji, the fortnight and this thing, I couldn't understand, Mataji.
Well, we are focused on verse 15 now.
Oh.
What are your reflections on this today?
That the only important thing is that We want Kṛṣṇa and his association. We don't need anything else.
Nice. What do others have to say? What did you read from this verse? And what settled on you?
This world is full of miseries.
That this world is full of miseries. Okay.
That
Hare Krishna,
they only
Mataji.
want Krishna and Krishna's association, only that you want. And once you reach Goloka, you don't have any desire to come back.
Nice. There were some others also who wanted to share the reflections.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Okay.
They're talking about the Mahatmas, the most elevated souls, or the real transcendentalists, but they are giving some steps that they take some steps like they focus their mind just on Krishna. They want only to think about Krishna. They want only to be engaged in Krishna. So they don't care whether they are any place, at any place. They don't care. And conclusion in this verse, they are saying that this is the highest perfection. This is the highest perfection. That when they are thinking only about Krishna, whether they are in hell or heaven, anywhere they are. So that is the highest perfection they see.
Did the verse talk about heaven or hell?
Heaven or
No,
hell,
no,
they are
no,
not
no.
talking.
What was the focus on the verse? From this
They
verse?
just say that they no longer desire. When they find Krishna inside and outside, they're focusing only on Krishna. Then they don't have any desire to elevate anywhere. They don't want to go to Swargaloka. They don't want to go to Satyaloka, any other planets. They just want Krishna inside and outside. And that is, they are saying, the highest perfection.
Okay. And that is coming in the purport, right?
Yeah.
Rather has elaborated that in the purport.
Yeah.
But in the verse today, what is the verse as such saying? I mean, Prabhupada obviously will embellish and add some more value to it. But what were the key things that were discussed in the verse itself? The verse for today.
The great souls, and then who are yogis, they only in devotion and never return to this temporary world.
They have attained the highest perfection.
They have attained the highest perfection.
Okay. So let's see what we were talking about in chapter number, verse number 14 last week, right? Last week we said, Ananya chetaha satatam yomam smriti nityasaha tasyaham sulabha partha diktya yuktasya yoginaha. And what does it translate to? It says,
one who always remembers me
always
without deviation,
attains me without
and easy to obtain.
deviation.
O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service.
Right? So he's talking about that one who always remembers me without deviation. I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what it said in the previous verse. Now, so he's talking about that when you think about Krishna without any impetus, without any deviation, then you will get. And what is in today's verse he's saying? He's giving you the impetus. He's telling you what is the impetus for you to think about Krishna. Right? It is saying, okay, if you're thinking about Krishna all the time, then you will come to me. But then your question will be, how do I think about Krishna? What is it that will give me the impetus to fix my mind on Krishna? And so today's verse is telling you this. And what does today's verse say?
After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion.
That is a result. Right? That is a result. It's saying that those who attain me will not come back. But then what else is saying? Come back to where?
To this temporary world.
Temporary world.
Full of miseries.
Full of miseries.
Right? And this is so interesting. So he's saying temporary. What is the Sanskrit for temporary?
Aśāśvatam.
Right? Yeah. And then what is the Sanskrit for miseries?
Duḥkha-ālayam.
Duḥkha-ālayam. Right? So
duḥkha-ālayam, aśāśvatam.
So what is the impetus? for you to fix your mind on Krishna? What makes you, when you are in this material world, what makes you fix your mind on Krishna generally?
Devotion.
To be away from the miseries.
Yes, to be away from the miseries. The fact that there is duḥkha-ālayam, the fact that there is misery in this material world, that will be the impetus for you to turn your face towards Krishna. Sukh mein sumrin sab karen.
Oh,
Sukh mein sumrin sab karen, sukh mein kare na koi. Jo sukh mein sumrin kare, dukh kahe ko hoye. Right? It's a very famous couplet. Right? So that's what
But Mataji, one thing is there. When there is dukh, when you are this thing, it is very difficult to do Simran. I find it that way.
Practice.
When things are okay, your attention, everything is very much fixed in the devotion and in bhakti. But when there is some misery or something, some dukh is there, I find it very difficult to do that.
Yes. And you are not the only one. You are not the only one, right? So it's very easy to say, thank you, Krishna, thank you, Krishna. And when are we saying thank you, Krishna, thank you, Krishna? When we are getting whatever we wanted. To think about Krishna. When we are getting what we did not want, right? Who gets up in the morning and says, okay, I want some miseries today? Nobody. But misery is a fact of life. And this is what Krishna is saying. And Krishna does not emphasize too much on the fact, and he doesn't even prove that to Krishna in any way, that this world is a place of miseries. It's a fact, a well-known and well-acceptable fact. He's just telling you how to get out of this. Right? That is what his focus over here is. Okay, and of course, he's also telling you that this is a temporary place. And so look at Bhagavad-gita's message, that this is a temporary place full of miseries. Mark these two words, right? And then look at what movies and novels portray to you, right? So there's a boy and there's a girl. The boy loves girl, girl loves boy, and they get married, and then they live happily ever after, right? So, and soon they realize that there is no happily. And then also that there is no ever after. Ever after means what is the meaning of ever after?
For always.
As long as they live.
Yeah. So happily ever after. And so in this world, is there ever after? Is there a forever? No. Because what is going to come? Death is going to come and snatch away everything that we have, right? So, so Krishna just states that as a matter of fact, right? He's stating it as a matter of fact. For example, when you go to the doctor, okay, you go to the doctor and you tell the doctor, I'm having pain over here, I'm being over there, whatever are your symptoms, you tell that to the doctor, and the doctor tells you that okay, here you take these medicines, and if you take these medicines, you'll be okay, right? And then you do not debate that with the doctor, do you? The doctor is saying, okay, if you are in the hospital, I've operated on you, now you take these antibiotics, you take these medicines, and if you follow my prescriptions, then you'll be out of this miserable place, which is the hospital, right? Just if we do that, do we debate that with the doctor? Do we tell them? No, right?
No.
Similarly, right? So it's a well-known fact. The hospital is a place of misery. It's a well-known fact. So there's no arguing that. So that's why Krishna is just saying, okay, this world is he doesn't even start that verse with that, right? What does he say? Upetya punar janma. So the focus there is upetya, how one achieves it. And the impetus is all these pains and miseries that you get in your life. These are the impetus for you to think about Krishna. Otherwise, we'll never think of Krishna, right? We know of that famous story of Indra, where he was sitting in his throne, in his court, and there were a lot of people who were dancing and they were singing his praises. And then a spiritual master comes and he's all puffed up. And a spiritual master comes and he didn't even realize that he has to get up. Right? So in these things, these things are just there to remind us that this is what happens. that when you are completely happy, there is a very high chance of you forgetting Krishna. And that is why we don't want to go to the higher planets, or you don't want to go to the lower planets, because both are places where there's a lot of opulence. That's why those who are born in this planetary system where we are lucky, because there is not too much happiness and there's not too much, for us to deviate us from our path. The misery is there, but then that is the impetus for us, right? So what was the upetya punar janma duḥkha-ālayam aśāśvatam upetya punar janma, right? Today's verse. I'm just trying to remember, right? So, yes, and then let's go back and look at the words here. Just trying to find the Sanskrit word. Wanted to speak something here. Upetya punarjanma duḥkha-ālayam aśāśvatam nāpnuvanti mahā-ātmānaḥ saṁsiddhiṁ paramāṁ gatāḥ. So he's talking the word Mahatma, right? Mahatma. So what is a Mahatma? Who is a Mahatma? Sometimes you will see that
Great souls.
a great soul, right? Sometimes you'll see that the politician died. And, when people are speaking on his death, then they will call him a Mahatma. So people will call Mahatma to anybody they like, right? But really, who is a Mahatma? The Mahatma is a person who seeks Krishna, right? And with undeviated attention.
Transcendental messages.
So Krishna has also talked about that in the previous chapter, where he says Vasudeva Sarvam Iti
Sarvamiti sa Mahatma Sudurlabha.
So Mahatma Sudurlabha, right? So who is a Mahatma? A Mahatma is one who thinks that Vasudev is everything. So Mataji, who said that it's difficult for you to remember Krishna at the time of misery, right? So then what do we do? I mean, this is a fact that that this is a place of misery. Krishna already declared it, right? It's a duḥkha-ālayam, it's a place of misery. Now, dukh plus ale, right, makes it duḥkha-ālayam, right? Pustak plus ale makes it pustak-ālayam,
Library.
right? Bhojan plus ale makes it
Bhojanālayam.
right? Him plus ale makes it
Himalaya.
Himalaya. What is the meaning of him?
Baraf.
Him means snow, right? So a place where there is snow. Okay. So when you think about Himalayas, mountains covered with snow, right? So Himalaya is there. There is snow there, but is that the only thing that Himalaya has to offer you? When you go to Himalayas, when you go to Kashmir, beautiful scenery, right? This beauty. People go there for excursions.
Lakes are there.
Lakes are there, right? like that. So we also similarly have to remember that Krishna is saying that it is duḥkha-ālayam aśāśvatam. He's reminding us, and he's telling you that this will be your impetus to go back, but that doesn't mean that there will not be any happiness in this material world. Okay. But the point that this particular verse is emphasizing is that there are miseries in this world. Now, the question is that, okay, so Krishna already told me that this is a place full of miseries. Now, so what should I do? I'm in a place full of miseries, I'll be miserable, right? That's one approach of going about it. But then that's not two facts are there. That, okay, I surrender to Krishna. This is a place of misery. I will not make any efforts to avoid the distress, because distress come on their own. What can I do? That's one way, right? So that is not how you're going to handle the distress. Okay. So when we have distress and we say that it's difficult for us to handle the distress, right? And the reason for that is that we make avoiding the distress to be the primary purpose of our life. Avoiding the distress, we make it to be the primary purpose of this life. Right? I remember when I started my career in computer engineering, I used to type. It was many, many years ago. And I used to type on a terminal, keep on typing. And if I made a mistake 5 lines above, then I had to use one key that took me up to the 6th line, and I will go left, and then I would do it. And I was like, oh, if there was some way for me to point to that place and just go to that place and make the changes, right, on the screen. And then a few years later, we had the mouse, right? The mouse came, point and click. And I broke my mouse from my hands from excessive use of the mouse, constantly click, 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 like that, right? So we, in this material world, we try to focus on how to avoid our distress. Oh, you are having distress of, going click, 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 up, click, 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 left. Oh, I'm going to give you a mouse. We thought that it's going to avoid the distress. Guess what? It brought you even more distress. Okay? So many things. We don't want to walk. It is hard. Let's get a car. Right? Now with the car, you get pollution. That will have other effects. People have cancer, this and that. Or you now start going in a car. So to avoid the pollution, you close the car, doors and windows. And then guess what? You feel hot inside it. So you're trying to avoid the distress, but ultimately you're getting more distress. And then you say, okay, I'm going to get an air-conditioned car. So, of course, you'll go through a lot of distress to get an air-conditioned car. To pay that extra money, you have to earn it. That is another distress. But then once you get the air-conditioned car, you're going inside, everything seems smooth till you find that, something is happening to my skin nonetheless. And what? Well, the ozone layer is broken because of all this air conditioning that is happening, right? So you see, our attempts at trying to avoid our distress and making that as the primary purpose of our life is not really helping us at all. And that is the fact to which that we are going, right? So we have to remember that there will be, this world is a place of misery. There will be miseries over here. But then just like as in the Himalayas, there are some nice places, something good also comes out of looking at the Himalayas, right? And so here also in this world, we have to see that how can I in this world get the beauty out of the world, of this world, right? So in order to get that beautiful and that pleasurable feeling from this material world, we have to find something which is superior. We have to find sub-cause on which I'm focusing, that these miseries become smaller in magnitude as compared to the big goal towards which I am going. Right? For example, I have a colleague at work. She likes to do trekking. And so she went to Himalayas just a couple of months ago. And to go to the Himalayas, that itself is a problem. Getting away from work is a problem. But then she had this higher desire. And then she came back. She went there. And then somebody gave her a juice. One of the Nepali Sherpas, they gave her some juice to drink, mango juice. And she drank it. And that juice was outdated, right? Expired. And she drank it and she had loose motions. And then loose motions on your way up. But then, she slept, she got up, she went, climbed. So because she had a higher purpose in life, higher and a very strong desire to do something, I want to scale this peak because I took off from work. This is what my goal is. That all the other smaller miseries that were there, right? That having, up in the mountains with no medicines, no doctors around, you have a terrible food poisoning and you're still bearing with it, you're going up, right? So when you have a higher purpose in life, then at that time, and which is the higher purpose in life so far that we have read in Bhagavad-gita? What is the highest purpose in our life?
To be Kṛṣṇa conscious.
To be Kṛṣṇa conscious, right? Or to go and reach Kṛṣṇa. So when your consciousness and your goal of life is to go and find Kṛṣṇa, on their way, if you find miseries, you won't feel that bad. As contrast to if your goal in life was to get out of miseries. If your goal in life was to get out of miseries, the moment a misery comes, you are completely, gone. If your goal in life was to find Kṛṣṇa, then the misery is fine, right? It doesn't bother you that much. And similarly, like, a mother cooks in the kitchen in the heat of June, the heat of May, the heat of July, like that. She will cook for her kids. Is that a miserable condition? Anybody looking from outside will think, yes, it's a miserable condition. You're sitting in front of fire when it's so hot outside. But does the mother feel that way? No. Why? Because she has got a higher purpose. Her purpose at that time is not to avoid the misery of the heat in the kitchen, but by trying to put on air conditioning. And the moment you put on air conditioning, and we witness that all the time in the temple, when it becomes very hot in the kitchen, somebody will come and switch on the AC. And then the people who are flying the pakoras will now say, oh, because of the AC, the pakoras are not flying properly. So you see, so whenever you're trying to get out of these miseries, the results is different. When you're trying to circumvent these miseries or ignore these miseries because you have a higher purpose in life. If you have a higher purpose in life, then these will go away. And then when miseries come, it's about I always talk about how our thought process changes, thought process of a devotee changes. The devotee is surrendered to Krishna, right?
Mm.
And you notice that a complete surrender came from Srila Prabhupada. When Srila Prabhupada was coming to America, right? And he wrote a poem on the way coming to America. Like, he's a person from India with no knowledge background or friends or family in America. He's coming in a merchant navy ship. And there he's writing to Krishna and he's saying, I'm going there to America to preach your message. And he's saying, make me dance, make me dance, make me dance, right? And this is like he's not saying like dance with ecstasy or anything like that. You know, he's saying make me dance like how we say nachwa diya, right? Like that. So you make me dance and I'll dance to your tune. So that was the kind of surrender that Srila Prabhupada had. And that's also the mood of a devotee of the Lord. And we hear that Brahma says in Srimad Bhagavatam, tattenu kampam susamikshamano bhunjanam evatma kritam vipakam hidvag vapabhe
Hridvag vapurvir vidada namaste jivetayo
mukti
muktis padesa
daya bhag, right?
yeah.
So when a true devotee of the Lord faces miseries, and this is something that we can, if it's not coming to you, we can consciously practice. Next time any misery comes to us, then we can sit and we can think about this verse and say that tattenu kampam, that this misery that I'm going through, oh Lord, right? This misery that I'm going through, Lord, comes as a mercy from you. Actually, this is a mercy from you. And why is it a mercy from him? Because it'll make me think of you. And so this is actually your mercy. You're making me think of you. And also, atma kritam vipakam. This is coming because of my own deeds. The miseries come because of our karmic reactions, right? But you, my Lord, because, and then he starts glorifying the Lord. He says, you, my Lord, are so munificent to me that although I deserve worse, that you have reduced the sentence of me. And when we start thinking like that, then we actually become mukti pade sadaya bhag. Then liberation from this material world becomes my rightful claim, right? And like Prabhupada explains, and he says that, what is the rightful claim? For example, if a son of a rich man, the son is going to inherit all the wealth from the father. What does the son have to do? It is his rightful claim. All that the son has to do is to stay alive and outlive the father. That's all, right? Because it is his rightful claim. You will get it, right? So similarly here also, you continue to stay alive in Krishna consciousness and you will get to it. So next time the misery comes to us, start thinking from a different angle, right? Start thinking from a different angle that, okay, who is the cause? What is the cause? And is this my real thing, right? So Krishna is saying, Mam upetya punar janma duḥkha-ālayam aśāśvatam, right? So what he's saying is that he's not only just telling you that this world is a place of misery alone, right? What he's also saying is that, this world does not have a place which is fully free from misery. There's not a single place in this world which is fully free from misery. And the miseries are coming from this material world, this material body, lead to our miseries, the subtle and the gross. And that's why we try to raise our consciousness and try to move out of this miserable situation. Like as the doctor says, if you're going to take the medicine, right? If you take this medicine or if you take my treatment, then you will get out of this hospital, right? And similarly, in this material world is for our treatment. If you take it like that this material world is for my treatment, all these miseries that I'm going through are for my own treatment, right? After you go through a misery, then you decide not to do it, right? Too much of eating of something, and then we get miserable, stomach upset or, heart attack or whatever, then we immediately say, okay, now I'm not going to do it, right? Right? But having understood this fact that this world is a place full of miseries, how do we handle the fact? We understand that there's misery. I've understood it. All of you have accepted that this world is a place of misery. Then when Jyoti Mataji is struggling with her miseries, what do we tell her? Oh, remember October 3, we had the class, Bhagavad-gita 8:15, duḥkha-ālayam aśāśvatam. Why don't you get it? Why don't you understand? It is duḥkha-ālayam aśāśvatam. That's what it's going to be. And that is not what our behavior should be. So when somebody is going through a miserable position, we empathize with them. And so we tell them that, everybody is going through misery. Everybody goes through this miserable place, right? And then we have to help them turn to Krishna consciousness, right? And then you can share your experiences on how you handle something, or similar problem that is there. You can always do that, right?
Mataji, what happens when you are unwell? Otherwise you really enjoy the class. You really, like to do things, enjoy the class. Acha lagta hai. But when you are unwell, that focus, you are attending the class, but that enjoyment and that pleasure is not there. So I wanted to know that how to change which you have very well explained today, you change the focus. That focus, I wanted to know how to change from being like you have a fever or you are having a pain. Then, it is difficult for you to focus on the class or focus on the bhakti. That is what I meant was.
Right.
So at that time, though you try to focus on the class and nothing, but the attention keeps going back to your pain. That dard sir dard ho raha hai, aankhon se nazar nahi aa raha. At that time you feel that I want to know how to change, wanted to know how to change the focus, and which you have told very well today, that you have to fix your mind on a higher goal.
On a higher goal, right? So a couple of things here. Understanding that there are miseries in the life, understanding that there is hospital there. When we are sick, you have to go to the hospital, right? Which means that you have to go away from work, away from whatever you're doing. You have to land in the hospital, stop everything else that you're doing and take the treatment, okay? So similarly, if there is a class and if your body is not up to it, right? The best thing is not to go to the class. Let the body heal first, because that is also important. So what I'm saying is that there are distresses in life, but that doesn't mean that we don't take any action towards that. The fact that, okay, there are diseases, so that's fine. Everybody is getting COVID. I also got COVID. I'm not going to take anything after that to relieve myself of the misery. It is a place full of miseries. I'm suffering. No. If there is medicine, we will take that. If there is prevention, flu shots, we will take that, right? So first thing is the soul has to stay in a sound body, and that's one of your dharmas, to take care of the body, right? However, sometimes it might not be that bad. The health might not be that bad. It's a little aches, groans, pains, I was thinking when Sutapa was reading, I was thinking that I think she's under the weather. That was just the thought that I had. And so, and she's in the class, right? So what happens is that when we come to the class and we are enjoying it, is that the main focus? If that is my main focus, that I come to the class so that I feel happy, you notice that the focus is towards me, that I am going to enjoy it. And if there is throat ache, I am not enjoying it. Right? So start slowly by deliberating again and again, practicing again and again, and maybe, every day before you come to the class, remind yourself that listening to Shastras, I feel very happy. But even happier is Krishna when he sees that I am
Kṛṣṇa.
making this
Yes, the
effort.
focus attained, right.
Exactly, right? So you see now what has happened from Atmendriya Priti to Krishnendriya Priti. That is Krishna ka Indriya. You're trying to Priti, you're trying to give pleasure to Krishna's senses and not pleasure to my senses. So if you know that coming and sitting in the class pleases Krishna, it will not matter to you whether the knee is hurting or throat is paining, whatever. You'll just sit quietly in the class, you listen and you say, okay, Krishna. And then sometimes the body will not even cooperate with that, and it's okay. There is recording of the class, right? You can always go and listen to the recording. So it will
But
be,
Mataji, listening to the recording is not the same. I mean, you have to, but the interaction with the class and the devotees is way better.
what can you do in such a
Yes.
case? How will you get interaction? Give me some examples and a solution.
When? For when?
When you're sick and you have to listen to a class and you are not getting interaction. So how will you get interaction? You are missing the devotee association, right? When you're sitting alone in the class,
Yeah.
you're thinking that. So what is it that you are missing at that point? The class is there, the teacher is speaking, others are speaking. What is it that you're missing?
Association.
Think about it. Yeah.
Association.
There is Vani association. You are listening to
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Right. What is it that you're missing in the class when you're not there?
Interaction, Mataji?
That
Yes,
we see,
interaction,
yeah.
but elaborate a little bit more on the interaction. What is missing? Interaction.
Like you are not able to participate.
You, exactly. With you, right? And you're
Yeah,
missing the pleasure
yeah,
of interactive Vacho Begam, the urge to speak, right?
yeah.
So if we turn away from that force that wants us to speak all the time and turn more towards listening, right? And saying, okay, I'm just coming here to listen to a discussion that's going on between some devotees who are there on the Zoom call, right? So when your approach is like that, then whether it's a live class or whether it is a recorded class, it doesn't matter. And believe me, if you really start focusing, you become a part of the class just because your mind is completely engaged in it. So try that kind of a focus and it'll happen. And again, Atmendriya Priti, Krishnendriya Priti. See, I'm listening to this. I'm listening to a recording, although there is no interaction, although I will never have a chance to, well, you will have a chance to. You can like the video. You can put your comments in the video. Quite a few people on Facebook, they do that, They will come and put something. Some of them even answer questions and sometimes I miss a reading. So, so what I'm saying is that try to focus away from what's in it for me. What is that in it for me? Okay, WIIFM channel, right? There are FM channels that you tune, right? AM channels, FM channels. So this is the WII FM channel. WII is what's in it for me. WII FM channel. That's the channel, right? So we tune away from that channel and instead tune to what's in it for Krishna, right? So it'll take some practice. It'll take a lot of practice and you will have difficulties also. And the reason for that is Mame Vancho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are all parts and parcels of Krishna, right? So Krishna is an enjoyer. So we have that tendency to enjoy. And we are seeking that pleasure. We are seeking from here and there and everywhere, but not try to get it from the right source. Not you. You're already here in the class, dedicating your weekend to this. So you're already there, but I'm just talking about that the majority of the world are thinking of pleasure from here and there. And once we focus our attention and try to do everything that we do for Krishna, in which case, leaving the class and sitting down and going to sleep is also a service to Krishna because you are trying to get better for the next day so that you can do better service for Krishna. So you see, Bhavagrahi Janardana, I always repeat that in the class, Bhavagrahi Janardana, he knows what is going inside your mind. He knows that. And so as long as you keep that part pure and clean and focus on Krishna, it should be fine, right? So when others are going through a distress, we just don't give them philosophy. We give them our love and we give them our support, right?
Yeah.
And that's the only way, it's only love that we can overcome us, right? And then as you come across and as you're preaching, talking to people, and you're saying that, okay, this world is a place of misery, then some people will argue with you. They will say that, where is the misery? And you can't refute, because everything seems to be going good for them. They are from a good family, they're making good money, they are in good health, they're beautiful, they have good relationships. What is wrong in this material world? They might ask that question.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So we have to understand that this is a material ocean. This whole world is an ocean, right? So if you are in an ocean, okay, and suppose you are in a cruiser ship, right? Cruise ship is there, and you're going to cruise to Alaska, maybe, right? So you are on that cruise ship, you are in the ocean. Second person, that person is in a raft. He's also in the ocean. Now, of course, every now and then something happens, right? The raft wobbles and all that, and so he's facing that. But the person on the ship, to him, it doesn't even appear as if the ship is moving smooth on the ship, right? So first person is not seeing duḥkha-ālayam. The other person is seeing duḥkha-ālayam. Constantly the raft is moving here and there and pushing you, right? But then if a tsunami comes, both will be put into the ocean. The one who was in the raft and the one who was in the cruise ship, right? Titanic, right? So Kṛṣṇa is trying to emphasize, Kṛṣṇa is to tell him, like, hey, buddy, just realize that you're in an ocean. It doesn't matter what kind of a vehicle you are on, whether it's a raft or whether it's a cruise, ocean liner. The chances are that, a tsunami can come. And there is no place where tsunamis don't come or can't come. So it's better to get out of a place from here and go to a place where there's no miseries. And that is Goloka Vṛndāvana. And once a person realizes that when it says there is no place like that, there is no misery, that means in all these material planets, even if they are higher planetary systems or netherlands that we have, the planets which are below us, everywhere there is misery. One type or the other type. Where it is there. But if you go to Vaikuntha, places where there are no miseries, which is out of this material world, so that is where your aim should be. That is the highest goal, paramāṁ gati, that Kṛṣṇa is talking about, right? So I'll stop here. We are over the hour and we are past Sutapa's dinner time. So I'll pause for some time and take some reflections or comments or questions. Chika, some more?
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you.
It was very clear today, Mataji.
Very
So
clear.
no questions as of
Oh,
for
wow.
today's verse. No, for today's verse.
For today's verse, yeah. Always remember that, what from that verse, remember that Kṛṣṇa is warning you, right?
Yeah.
For example, if you have to go from one place to another place, okay, and you are suppose you're in a temple, right, and you always go inside the temple, you're barefoot. Now from there you're going into the kitchen to help. Now something has spilled in the floor and the floor is very slippery. So it's better not to go barefooted over there. So somebody outside is telling you, you better put on these kitchen shoes there, which are worn only inside the kitchen room. That will prevent you from slipping down. Is that good or bad?
Good.
It's good.
Good.
Right? That's what Kṛṣṇa is telling you, duḥkha-ālayam. Don't get carried away by the happiness. It's a duḥkha-ālayam. It's a place where there is miseries.
But Mataji, some people have more miseries than the other.
Yes.
And some people, like you described, have everything going for them and they don't think it's a misery. So how do you explain the two extremes?
How do you explain? Now I will take the first one, where the first comment, which was some people have a lot of miseries, right?
More.
Some people have more and some people have less, right? How do you explain that? That you know by now, right? Why some have more, why some have less? Why do we have
Karma.
It's due to their
karmic reaction, right? It's a
Karma.
karmic reaction. And if somebody is having a good life, that's no guarantee that his life is not going to turn around.
No.
Right? And if you
That's
don't see
part
the
of
right,
the moment, it will be good. Then later on, nobody knows what happens.
nobody knows. Yeah, it could get bad. If not in this life, it could get bad 6 lifetimes later. Anything can happen. right?
Hmm.
So just don't go by what is happening at the point in time
Yes.
that somebody is miserable and somebody's not. See, remember there's a difference between misery and suffering,
Hmm.
right? And misery is not in your hand, but suffering is in your hand, because suffering you can control to your mind. Miseries will come on their own. How much I choose how to suffer is completely my decision. So you could see people who get lot of miseries, right? But they are not very unhappy, because they have got, their consciousness is at that level where they can take all of it. Was Prahlad Maharaj completely miserable and heartbroken and wrecked when his father put so many miseries on him?
No.
No. Did he ask for those miseries? No. They came on
No.
their own, right? But he
Hmm.
knew how to handle this. And so this is the important thing that we have to remember, is that life is, we agree, life is uncomfortable. But also remember, it is not unbearable. People bear it, right?
Yes.
Right? Women give birth. The pain that you get while giving birth is the highest amount of pain. Pain is actually also measured.
That's true.
Pain is measured in doles. 1 dole of pain, 2 doles of pain, like that, right? So
Mhm.
like there's 9 dole of pain is what the childbirth is. And 9 dole of pain is the maximum pain that a human body can endure. If you increase the pain to more, they will die or be unconscious or, pass like that. So 9 dole of pain is there. It is uncomfortable, but women bear it. It is bearable. And why? Because the focus is on a higher goal, that I'll get a baby.
That's it, baby.
You see, similarly here also, right? Similarly here also, that, and then for those who are completely happy, and you understand why they are happy, right? You also know that it's not a permanent situation for them also. So duḥkha-ālayam is also aśāśvatam. Both are aśāśvatam, right? And you don't cast pearls before the swine, as they say. Sometimes we go out on book distribution and we say, hey, you want a Bhagavad-gita? This will bring you happiness in life. It happened to me. And this guy was with his girlfriend and he says that, I'm already happy. I've got a cigarette in my hand. I've got a beautiful girl. And they both hugged each other and they went away. Aśāśvatam. You don't preach to them. Because they are not in a mood to understand, not in that consciousness to understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Some are smart, they will understand. Some have to go through, so like they say, fools learn from their own mistakes or own circumstances. And wise men learn from other people's mistakes and other people's circumstances. So be wise and speak to the wise. There's no point talking to the fools. Just, move on. Krishna has a plan for them. And then they will come back someday or the other. And the only way for them to turn, what will be the way for them to turn to Krishna unless there is some misery, right? So Krishna, in all his love, Krishna speaks to us through three levels of conversation with us. Krishna's first level of conversation is completely silent. And that is, there are scriptures that are written. You can read them, where Krishna is talking to you. Right? Second is when Krishna will talk to you through a representative. So you go to a class, you sit in the class and you hear, right? And so Krishna, same thing, they will also teach from the scriptures only. And so you don't listen, you read the scriptures, don't listen. You go to the class, you understand the class, don't apply it, right? Like that. So when
Mataji, I have a question, Mataji.
let me complete my thought, please. And the third way, that what happens when you don't listen to first two methods of Krishna's talking is then he'll speak to you through the loudspeaker of misery. Then you hear very nicely, because all this while it was just a very soft, either he was speaking to you from your heart as Paramatma, or as a guru from outside, or just giving you the silent Shastra treatment. These are books, you go read it. We were not doing it. But then when the misery comes, it's like, oh, where is Krishna? Like that. So Krishna will speak to you sooner or later using one of the methodologies there. Who had a question? Was it Vindhyavali or was it?
Yeah, me.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes, a person gets, she's unwell very nicely well off and then doing everything so highly, he's getting money, his job is very good, everything is fine. Suddenly it starts, something happens, the family members are for him, not serious death, not death, but some things happens. Then sometimes they say, "Oh, किसी ने नजर लगा दिया मेरे को, इसलिए मेरे को ऐसा हो गया." Is it correct?
Well, there is a lot more to. So, what nazar is a glance, right? And a lot can be done by the glance, and it depends on whose glance it is. Like in the beginning, in the Brahma Samhita, we see that Krishna's glance is Shambhu, and he just glances over the material nature, and then it gets impregnated, and the whole Srishti is created. And thank you, Sutapa, for attending the class.
Yeah,
right?
I need
So,
to. Yeah, thank you,
take
Mother.
care.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself. So, I just lost my thought process.
Krishna's glance.
Krishna's glance.
Yeah, you're talking about the glances, right? And then the second is the thought power. The thought power and the power of thoughts, because thoughts are what? They're coming from the mind and they're electromagnetic waves, and we get impacted by the electromagnetic waves. The waves that we are secreting, they will all get impacted by that. So when people are looking at these kind of things, those can have an impact. They can have an impact on us, right? Now, I'll tell you the story of, they attribute it to Gautam Buddha, but you can attribute it to anybody. So Gautam Buddha used to have his disciples, the bhikshus, right, who go from door to door to beg. And their job was to beg and get food, and then they would eat and offer it to Buddha. First, what the disciples do for the spiritual master. So they used to go from door to door, and they would give. They would get their alms, and in one door they were like, and those who have gone out on book distribution would have noticed that also. He would constantly, non-stop abuse them, use foul language, call them good for nothings, and say that, why don't you go and get some work, right? You're trying to make things for free and all that.
People say that.
Right? So he used to say all that, and then so these kids used to get very affected by that and felt very insulted. And so they once went and complained to the spiritual master and said, this is what is happening. So Gautam Buddha said, okay, tomorrow I'll go with you. So he goes with them, and they go there to each one of the, to each of the houses. So the first house, gives them an apple. He takes the apple, puts it in a bag. Next door, he also takes an apple, keeps it in a bag. To the third door they go is the same man who used to give abuses. So he looks at them and he says, okay, so now you brought your guru also. There's abuses and all that start. And then Gautam Buddha says that, you take this apple. He refuses to take the apple. Gautam Buddha then keeps it back in his thing. And then he continues to abuse, and Gautam Buddha is just standing there. And he abuses, and suddenly the man falls down with a heart attack. Gautam Buddha immediately goes to him and, brings him back to consciousness and life and whatever. So when he comes to consciousness, and then he realizes that Gautam Buddha had done this for him, and he had been abusing him, and Gautam Buddha on his part actually went and saved his life. So he was very grateful. But anyway, so then he moves from that house and goes to the next one. So then the Shishyas asked that, how did that happen? How did that happen? And so the Gautam Buddha again put his hand into the bag he had, and he took out an apple. And then he told to the disciple. So the disciple took the apple, right? So then he said that, the same it is with the vibrations that others are giving you. If you want to take it, you will get it. If you take it, it is yours, right? I tried to give you an apple, you took it, now the apple is with you. Similarly, when I tried to give him an apple, he didn't take the apple remained with me. So similarly, when I stood there and he was abusing me, giving me all kinds of negative things, I stood there, but I did not take it. So when you don't take it, it reflects and goes back to them. And you see the result, what happened? That so much of negativity came back to him and he had dropped down. Right? So similarly, in our lives also, we should be like that. And how will you come to that stage where drishti and this and curses,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
forget about this black magic. People do all kinds of things, right? They will bounce out of, these are all electronic waves, right? So if you have a layer and a coating over you where these things bounce off of you, then you're secure, right? And so when you're secure, so that's why, how are you going to make secure? How are you going to build that sheath over you? By becoming Krishna conscious, right? That is how you will avoid. So till as such, so try not to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
That is your strength.
That's what I told that person that, you know what, just don't think that others don't have anything to do with you. They just want to put nazar on you. That's what they want to do, like that. What will they get? What will they get? They won't get anything.
They will get a false sense of happiness.
False, you see. So I told, just if you want, you just turn your mind to Krishna, Krishna, and then try to chant. Whatever you can, time you can chant, 1 round, 2 rounds, just try to chant. Now that person is chanting and he says, little bit I am feeling comfortable. I said, that is what you will get. And the more you chant, the more you put your brain on that, you won't think that somebody's put nazar on your family or you or anything. Is that right, Mataji?
Yes, and then when we start looking at things philosophically, and we start understanding that, okay, there are karmic reactions that I have created, atma kritam vipakam, whatever I'm suffering are coming because of me. Now, somebody else casting a drishti on you could be the mechanism by which you get that, but you will get it, right? So you have to go to the root cause. What is the root cause? And eliminate the root cause from there.
That's true.
Don't eliminate the postman who has come to deliver the misery. Go to the source.
Yes, Mataji, that's so true. Because otherwise people say na कि इसने नजर लगा दी, उसने नजर लगा दी. आप इस बिल्कुल.
किससे लड़ोगे फिर, right?
Yes, true. Just get protection from the Lord. That's it.
Get protection from the Lord, right? Yeah. All right. So on that happy note,
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice class.
Meet again
Thank
on
you. Thank you
Sunday.
very much,
And by the
Mataji.
way, yeah, for the intent of full disclosure, on Sunday evening, I'm giving a class at one of the devotees' place here in California, and I will broadcast that on Zoom. I will post. I don't recall what the exact time is. It 5 o'clock or 5:30? I don't remember that.
Tomorrow or Sunday?
Sunday
Oh.
evening. Yeah, it's a change. So Sunday evening, I'll be delivering the class over there, and I will have a Zoom invite. So if you want to attend, if it's in your time zone, please do attend. Otherwise,
And Sunday morning Gita class, Mataji, that you are
it'll
doing?
happen as usual. Yeah, Gita class
Okay.
will happen as usual.
No, since 2 weeks, I am not saying that slokas. I have to collect and I will say, I will read all the slokas now.
That's good.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Shraddha
Krishna,
Mataji.
Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Patitana Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo, Gaur Premanande.